Olunaku lwa leero tutongoza People Power Students Movement. Abayizi aba matendekero aga waggulu okwetoola Uganda yonna nga mutwalidde Makerere, Kyambogo, Nkozi n'ebitundu ebirala byonna. So abayizi abakulembeze b'abayizi aba Uganda yonna tubadde nabo wano. Ekigendererwa kyaffe kukwongera omulamwa guno n'ensonga ze tuyimirirako ozinyikiza mu bayizi okwetoola eggwanga. Kuba ensonga ekwata ku bayizi bonna ate abo abayizi naddala bali mu matendekero aga waggulu balabirwako nnyo eggwanga era bakulembeddemu nnyo ameenunula g'ensi nnyingi nga kwotadde Sudaani, kwotadde Tunisia, kwotadde Burkina Faso ne Uganda. People Power mulamwa ogwagala okuzza obukulembeze eri abantu era mulamwa ogwetaniddwa nnyo abakulembeze bangi. Era People Power ye movement naddala okubanga ekulemberwa abavubuka esinza okutiisa obukulembeze bwa President Museveni obwamusibira mu bbwa. Era bino okutulugunya abakulembeze n'abayizi e Makerere babikola n'ebigambo poliisi byobadde byowulira ebyegamba ntino abayizi okwekalakaasa olw'okunyigizibwa kwe bayitamu bayina kusasulwa. Nze ndowooza ekyo kya bwebusa kuba omuntu yenna bw'aba anyigirizibwa tekimwetaagisa muntu kumujjukiza okaaba oba okwekubira ku nduulu. Gavumenti ya Museveni eze erondoola nnyo abayizi n'abakulembeze b'abayizi abakwatagana ne People Power ogezaako bamalamu amaanyi nga bwe wakirabye ku Tundulu, nga bwe walabye basiba Katerega Julius n'abayizi abalala bangi. Naye ffe tuyina obugumu nti ebyo byonna bibakola okunyigiriza abayizi ate byongera bawa amaanyi, byongera bawa resolve na kusalawo kwerwanako. Okusooka Gen Salim simanyi nga musinkana ngaani kubanga yes mukwano gwange muwe ekitiibwa ne ku nsonga zetwogerako nsonga z'abantu bonna. Okusinkana bobiwine si kyekizimalawo nga bwe nzogerako Joel Sonnyenyi bwazogerako n'omukyala ali nakapiripiti bwazogerako n'omwana ali embalala bwazogerako. So ensonga zetwogerako si za muntu nga nze za ggwanga bazitunuulire bakole ekyetaagisa okolebwa so si kunoonya nze nga muntu. Kya buswavu poliisi ye Uganda omulundi omulala yazzeemu okulaga nti bo bamenyi b'amateeka ate tebaswala kukiraga. Ekyakoleddwa ku Dr. Besigye kyennyamiza kyongera ennaku naye ate kirina okwongera otulaga wawe tuli. Tufugibwa ku mudumu gwa mmundu, tufugibwa batemu, tufugibwa batuju era kyongera okutuwa ensonga lwaki tulina okulwanyisa obukulembeze buno obw'ekituju buveewo. Kyongera okulaga bannamawulire nti tewali ali safe. Basooka kulwanyisa abantu abamu ne babanafuya kati nammwe kennyini bannamawulire abalaga ekituufu nammwe babalwanyisa. Ekyo nno nammwe njagala kyongere okubawa ensonga lwaki mulina okuyimirirawo ne mulwanyisa eddembe lyammwe kuba mmwe bannamawulire mwe layini esembeyo ey'abantu okutuuka okubeera nga baggula amaaso gammwe. Bwe bana abaziba emimwa nammwe then ensi yaffe ejja kuba egenze kaganga.
You see, our outgoing president, Mr. Yod, the microphone misbehaves when I talk about outgoing president. DJ Walia. How do you switch off the microphone when I'm saying something as critical as that? Our outgoing president, Mr. Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, when he decided that he wanted to be part of transforming his country, at least that's the history we read, that he decided, look, our country is in a shambolic state, we want to make things better. He went to universities, Magere and others, and he picked students from there. Some actually went to the bush before they could finish their degrees. That's a fact. In fact, a number of them, eventually when they returned from the bush, they went back to finish, others moved on. You know why? Because he knew that intellectuals at universities, one, they have the energies, two, they have the brilliance, and they have got what it takes to do things as risky as that, if it means changing the country. And so for us, when we see students like yourselves, I'm a student, by the way. I am a student at Magere University, studying law. Eva Kereroe! I decided to go back to Magere to add some value. It's a good thing to add value. So I want to become like, the liars in this place. I mean the lawyers in this place, this microphone. But the point I was making is, the reason Mr. Museveni went to university is because he knew this is, in many respects, the soul of the country. That students like yourselves at universities and higher institutions of learning, the cream de la cream, as we refer to it many times, once you have got those, you have got the country. You can ideologically get them on course, and also they can take risks, if that is what it means, to be part of bettering our country. And I know that a number of you have taken risks, Nyangoma and several others. But when I think about the risks these guys took, they left university, they abandoned their families, they went to the bush to die. And a number of them died. And so we congratulate you who are saying, no, we shall do everything within our powers to be part of things getting better. And we are saying, Katandika Butandisi, for as long as you are saying, our country must get better. Because it's not just about Magere University. Look, Magere is the way it is, and you can juxtapose that against any government institution, and the story is the same. Institutions are broken down. And we are saying, as young people, we should not sit back and watch as these institutions break down. The Musevenis did not sit back. So I keep getting perplexed when I hear them say, these young people, they are indisciplined, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, these young people are only holding placards. You, Mr. Museveni, you picked guns with your fellows, went to the bush to kill people. So who is more indisciplined? Who is more violent? And so please do not buy into this whole narrative when they say, yeah, you're violent and all of this. Are you kidding me? Holding a placard is not in any way comparable to somebody who picked guns, went to the bush to kill people. And I say that without flinching because that's what happened. I come from Nakasongola, which is part of the Luweero Triangle. They killed people. That's how they took power. You guys are not killing people. And if anything, banaika volume mukongezemu. Hallelujah. Kavolumu kasukali tekanna noga. Hey! Kwa bagamba nti abaana abato aba university muline fujjo okwata placard n'ogamba nti bannange tukoye embeera eno era twagala nti munyigirizibwa bakwata mundu ne bagenda mu nsiko ne batta abantu kwekutwala obuyinza kati mukwata placard okuvaayo ne mwekalakaasa mu ddembe bannange kintu kya bwenkanya kye kituufu ekyokukola. So as students, ours really is to encourage you that one thing that should be at the back of your mind as you do everything that you do is that you are disciplined people and that you are law-abiding people. Now, discipline does not mean fold your hands and let the oppressor beat you up, let the oppressor trample over your rights. No. We are saying have discipline, but say no to injustice. I think for us that's a very important thing. Then let's be law-abiding, that even as we operate, we are following the law because we want to be a government that is law-abiding as people power. But that we shall say no to injustice, that we shall say no to oppression, that we shall speak out. Because our Constitution, Chapter 4, the Bill of Rights, now you know I'm a serious law student. I'm doing revision now. It allows us, among other rights, freedom of expression. That if I want to express myself, for heaven's sake, I should be able to. That does not make me a terrorist. That does not make me a mutuchu, like these guys want to make us think. And so for those of you who have become fearful because you're called terrorists, you're called, I don't know, violent and all these things, we are just beginning and we are saying, we shall insist on saying no to injustice as disciplined people. So don't pick up guns, don't pick up stones, don't pick up machetes. For starters, pick up your national ID. But then we need a gamuntu. Pick up your national IDs. But also, I posted something yesterday, and eventually later, when I kept looking at it, it haunted me, it bruised me, it bothered me. But you see, children studying under trees, UPE schools. When it rains, there is no class. But our government, as a country, we are paying no attention to that, but we shall have monies to buy V8s and all these impenconis for the Sasiras of this world, for the butcher guy of this world, and all these different people. That should bother you. It bothers me. And you know why that is the case? It's because we have dealers as opposed to leaders. So these dealers are more concerned about the next election and not the next generation, which is you. So when they don't focus on you, please rise up, stand up, and say no. And we shall be very much behind you in that cause.
I'm a teacher in making. I'm humbled to be part of this light. I'm humbled to be part of People Power. And luckily enough, as among the 15 girls that rose on 22nd, I think it was 22nd, to cry to the world about this 15 cumulative increment tuition that is unfair to us. And in reward, we were threatened, we were warned, some of us were suspended, but they can threaten us, but our souls are still strong. Yeah.
My name is Benjamin Katana, and my role this morning is very simple, to emphasize the role of students in liberation struggles. Because I want you to remember that you're here to walk in the footsteps of those that have changed the shape and course of history, that have been where you are as a student. You should not look at yourself and think that you're too young to change the world, to change your situations. The 1960s, early 1960s, only 4 students started a campaign called the Lunch Counter Sit-ins to challenge racial discrimination in the United States of America. The 4 students turned into tens, into hundreds, into thousands, and their role can never be underestimated in what happened later. In 1968, in Poland and Warsaw, the students were at the forefront of challenging the censorship of the regime in the 2 countries. We are talking about students. In 1970, close to home, in South Africa, in Soweto, what started as a protest by children in school, even the ones in primary school, turned into a nationwide campaign that was joined by others in protests that shook the apartheid regime in South Africa. In 1989, what has come to be known as the Velvet Revolution in Czechoslovakia. These were students that challenged the dictatorial communist regime. They were joined by thousands and millions of citizens. And before the dictatorial regime could wake up, it had been toppled. That was after the Berlin Wall had been brought down. So ladies and gentlemen, in Uganda here, the students in the 70s played a very, very critical role in exposing the excesses of the dictatorial regime. And in 1980, the bulk of the fighters of NRA left Magere University where they were students. And you know them now. They are ministers, they are generals, and at that time, they discovered the role they had to play. And Franz Fanon is one, you should go and read about him. You are university students and intellectuals, current intellectuals, not so. You need to go and read about those events that I've talked about and the role of students. Franz Fanon wrote that every generation must out of relative obscurity discover its mission and either fulfill it or betray it. For you as the students of today, you must be able to discover your mission. Like the ones of 80s discovered their mission and joined NRA through the government then because they did not agree with it. And today they are glaring excesses call for the involvement of young people in the struggle to liberate this country. You should not underestimate your abilities on grounds of age. You should not underestimate your abilities in terms of experience. You should not underestimate your abilities in terms of CV. Liberation is not for those with big CVs. It is for those with conviction. And today, I would like to remind you that once again history has beckoned and you have been called by the cause to be at the forefront of fighting for a better Uganda, to be the champions of transformation. Because we, yourselves and I, and everyone that is seated here and everyone that is seated here, want to build a Uganda where if you choose to hold an opinion different from the one of the president and those that support him, does not become a crime. We want to build a Uganda where a government is not only concentrating on regime entrenchment, but service delivery. We want to build a Uganda where the voice of the citizens, including the students, can be listened to. But for you today, when you choose to say that this institution is unacceptable, you do not have a right to say that. Are some of your friends in prison? Have they committed any crime? But because the environment we have today is a dictatorship. And the only role we have as Ugandans is not fold our arms and surrender to the dictator. Dictatorships world over and since time immemorial must be challenged. They only give up in response to pressure from the citizens. So our job is well cut out. Go and preach to your roommates, preach to your classmates, preach to your parents, preach to your border rider that the call of liberation has been made. Do not wait for the dictator to give you space to participate in the management of the affairs of your country. As he pushes us backwards, we must push forward. I thank you and may God bless you.
Anna, our lawyer, who has given a very, very, very strong speech. I think he has represented me. At this age, I decided to go back and study peace and conflict. You see, where there is no peace, it is a conflict that has taken it away. And the President Museveni belongs to one of those. He belongs to the conflict. And I had to go back there to conceptualize, to build concepts and theories about how to bring peace in Uganda. You see, our president always brings up words which always, boost my movements. These days he's talking about yeeganye. And when I went to Magere, for me, I want to find the theories and concepts about that word yeeganye. And what you are doing in the Magere is what? Yes. This is how we are going to fight. I thank you. Thank you for the struggle. I know what you are passing through. We shall always support you and advise you. Thank you very much. People power.
Our power. People power. Our power. Our power. People power. Thank you so much, Mr. President and comrades. I am here to basically talk about one or two things. One, I do not want to just repeat what my comrades have already said. The role of young people in the struggle of any country cannot be underestimated. Go throughout history, young people have actually been fulcrum of every revolution. In this country, you know that 85% or even more of the people of Uganda are young people. But those young people are being held hostage by a few people, a clique of a few people, who, at your age, were in the bushes of Rural Triangle, fighting to better the country. President Museveni one time said, and I quote, that in the 1960s, 1970s, when we were growing up, intellectuals had two choices. One of those choices was to become a careerist and settle in the backward Africa, which, according to him, was ruled by brutal dictatorships. And he said that many people chose to be careerists at the time. But the other alternative was deciding to fight for the people at a great sacrifice. And he concluded by saying that those who undertook such sacrifices have created new conditions for the people of Africa. It annoys me so much, angers me, and causes me a lot of sorrow when I pass by Acacia Mall in the evenings and I see young people drowning in booze and that kind of thing, while our country is being plundered with the kind of plunder that we see. In every newspaper that will come out on a daily basis, you will see how many billions of Ugandan shillings are being stolen by a few government officials. You will see the kind of corruption, the nepotism, the gross human rights violations that are occasioned to us. We wouldn't be having this meeting here if we were living in a democratic country. We would be in a hotel somewhere in Kampala or any other place. But as you know, this gathering will not be allowed in any other place. We have to do it in this place at a great inconvenience to our host, but even to ourselves. You can imagine a country where a leader, a political leader who has disagreeable views cannot be allowed to hold a meeting, but those who are in power are allowed to do that. And they are not just given permission, but they are given state protection. And these days, given new, very expensive vehicles and that kind of thing. Yesterday, many of you must have seen pictures of your brothers and sisters who are very young, writing their exams on the floor. Right? Did any of you see those pictures? Did any of you see those pictures? You also saw pictures of dilapidated school structures, that is in places where those people have them, and other where children are studying under trees, and that kind of thing. But the government has no shame. It will get billions of the taxpayers' money and reward patronage and that kind of thing. And the young people are sleeping. The reason why we are launching this student movement today is to once again awaken the people of Uganda, especially the young people of Uganda, to realize that our time is now. I can assure you that if we do not do what we are supposed to do, the generations to come will ask us, what did you do when your nation came to that point? Your grandchildren will be asking you that question. What did you do when Uganda came to that point? Where Honorable Chagulanyi could not hold a music show, they will be laughing, they will not be even understanding how a person, an artist cannot hold a music show because apparently the government...
if you know any unemployed graduates with a certificate or degree in architecture, medicine, listed all of them, concluded by saying, send them my regards for November. And remember that education is the key to success, but the padlock was changed by this current government. It is a joke. Indeed, it's a joke. But it's very deep. It kept me thinking since yesterday and today. And I have totally changed whatever they do, so not to focus on that very joke. It is laughable. But now our problems are jokes, and we laugh about them and we go. Comrade Lewis is here saying that every evening he's bothered by fellow young men who go and drown in booze and everything. Ladies and gentlemen, today, on this very platform, the 75% of this country is sending a very clear and strong message to the current, but also the outgoing government, that the time for negotiating power, handing over power, is running out. And I must say this, nothing, and absolutely nothing, is going to stop us, because we are many, courageous, and determined. We are going to take charge of this country. For us young men, in our revolutions, we are going for the apple, wherever it is, and we are going to take it. Not in pieces, but we are taking the entire apple. And if need be, we shall go with the entire forest. Ladies and gentlemen, most importantly, the young people like I, People Power gives us a platform that no any other political entity or organization gives such a platform. You see, the cynics at the top of this country who make decisions, they do not need any other champion, whether you or me unworshipped. These guys have influence and they have a table, always. But Power gives us a platform that we also desire. Colleagues, for us, we are lucky that we are inheriting an original revolution that is coming from within us. So it is incumbent of all of us to do whatsoever is necessary to ensure that this revolution survives. I guarantee you that we must meet any hardship. I encourage you, we must do whatsoever it takes. We should support our friends. We must oppose the enemy, but we must ensure that this revolution survives. Let me encourage you, my fellow colleagues. The gentleman in charge of our country, for those of you who think that you are very young, the gentleman in charge of our country, for example, Mugisha Montu, after his last paper, he walked through Livingston, for those of you who know Magere, and they went to the bush, and right now, they're in charge of our country for 33 goddamn years. How old were you by the time they took power? That you can answer later on. So I want to insist that whoever is on this platform, whoever is on this ground, has the capacity and the ability to take charge of this country, and we are going to take charge of this country.